Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. So, let's get into today's video. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for not uploading in the last couple of days. That's been for a few reasons. I was trying to showcase some new Pokemon. I did tank my rating by about 140 points. Tried running Shadow Zapdos, that went terribly. Tried running Shadow Machamp, went average. However, most of the games were affected by bad lag, so I didn't really feel it was worthy to showcase. So, my first upload of Ultra League was a 5-0 running Shadow Drapion. After dropping 140 points, I thought it's perhaps time to gain some ELO and post a team that you can all use. So the team I'm going to run is the Shadow Swampert lead with the Mudshot, Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. The safe switch of Shadow Snorlax running Lick, Superpower and Body Slam. And we're going to be running that Shadow Drapion. I really like Shadow Drapion because I think it's got great synergy with Swampert, as it walls the occasional grass types we do see, which obviously Swampert's double weak to. It also handles these two big legendaries that cause Swampert problems in the league, being Giratina and Cresselia. Beats both of them handily, so the synergy there is fantastic. I think Drapion's a real sleeper pick in this Ultra. And I did actually manage to gain 300 ELO in 11 sets with this team. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. There's obviously been a lot of debate in the community about the state of the game, so these games I am going to show are hopefully the ones that are least affected by lag and glitches and game crashing. So in this first matchup we've got Swampert into Umbreon, and right off the bat you can see there we miss a fast move, so we are one behind. However, this is a fairly good lead for us. We will win this in even shielding scenarios. I'm going to build up to the Earthquake and look to land this Hydro Cannon. Although this isn't actually an ABB line, Swampert is mostly our best answer for a fighter, so we do look to safe swap. However, I safe swap into Drapion, as with this Poison Sting energy generation, it can have real good matchups even against things like Swampert. So we look to throw there. We time this second crunch a bit poorly. We do let 3 free turns of energy through, but I do want to grab this shield. Charge move coming through. We're going to let this go through. It's just going to be a flame charge, and we should be able to outpace them unless they throw their energy to this next one. Drapion's done its job. We're going to allow this to go down. We're going to wait out a switch timer and look to bring in the Shadow Swampert. They're now 2 incinerates off their next move. They actually do not allow us to overfarm too much. They aggressively switch out into Cresselia. This is great, as this is now where Snorlax comes in. You can see there they saw that we had the Drapion. They imagined that Cresselia would be safe in the back. We've got the big thick boy ready to meet this Cresselia. This is a fairly neutral matchup. They're going to be spamming out Moonblast. We're just going to be going for the Body Slam spam. Our Swampert now is in a great position up shields to close out this match. I'm going to look to try and get this Cresselia into Hydro Cannon range, which we do here. They actually try and aggressively switch out into Talonflame, so I'm going to put this Body Slam. I don't imagine they're going to shield. This takes out the Talonflame. I'm now looking to swap out into Swampert. Umbreon's at a move, however we've got loads of energy, so Hydro Cannon coming through. We're going to shield this up, and Swampert head and energy pretty much beats everything. So this next Hydro Cannon is going to grab the shield. They're now 3 away, so we're going to beat them to this next move. So this is going to take out the Umbreon before they manage to get to their next foul play. In comes the Cresselia, who's got nothing to do. GG's to the opponent. So moving on into this next battle, we have our Shadow Swampert into a Stunfisk. This is a real good lead. The opponent's looking to stay in, so they are going to be double weak. However, even the Shadow Swampert in the Ultra League is quite thick compared to the Great Leagues. We can tank an Earthquake, no problem. Opponent lets the Hydro Cannon come through. We're going to allow this to come through. I'll magic with the Earthquake. See there, we are in the yellow, but we've got plenty of health left. In comes an Obstagoon. Obstagoon in the back is a bit of a problem for our team, so we are going to soften it up with this Hydro Cannon and look to switch out into our Drapion. Charge move coming through. Just a Night Slash. You can see we resist. These counters do really add up, but the Night Slashes don't do a lot. I imagine the opponent is running Gunk Shot. And we look to land this Sludge Bomb in return. You can see the Sludge Bomb does massive damage. Most people that do use Drapion are running Crunch and Aqua Tail, so this Sludge Bomb does catch a lot of people out. We actually managed to Poison Sting down, which is great for us.
And in comes a Shadow Swampert. Shadow Swampert obviously is hitting us for super effective these mudshots, but you're going to see here the amount of damage this crunch does. The Swampert can only actually manage 2, and now we aggressively switch into Snorlax. I've aggressively switched out as I don't want Drapion to get mudshot down. You can see there, we let the first one come through. We're going to shield this next one up, and these lick damage have now got Swampert quite low. That's Stunfisk comes back in, it threw its energy, so it's quite energy dry. They need 5 to get to a rock slide, so we throw this body slam, which they don't shield, and we can now lick down before they reach even a rock slide. We're now going to spam out these body slams. You can see here, this Swampert's getting super low, so it looks like it's just going to need quick moves to finish off. I'm not going to shield this move. We're going to have to bring in our own Swampert and look to mudshot down. Which we do there. GG's to the opponent. Moving straight on into this next battle, we have a Shadow Swampert lead into our Articuno. This is kind of a neutralist matchup for us. We can win this matchup in the one shield if we manage to sneak in enough mudshots. However, it normally is a narrow loss, which is fine for us. We'll match shields, and we are going to look to try and get the extra mudshot in. You can see there, we've got the spinning wheel of death, and we actually time our charge move quite poorly. They actually get the eye shard through, so we are going to lose this matchup, which is fine for us. We're going to try and get to the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. First one coming through now. This should get the Articuno fairly deep into the yellow, and we managed to get this last one. This should draw the last shield or win switch. We do draw the last shield and we get eye shard down. So we're going to look here just to come in with Snorlax as the damage sponge, as you've seen us use in previous videos. We're going to completely look for the lick down. We are probably going to hit with at least 2 Icy Winds, which is fine, as we're just going to instantly swap afterwards to clear our debuff into the Drapion. Another Icy Wind coming through. You can see the Snorlax is now getting quite low on health, but look how much energy we've got. So whatever comes in endgame isn't going to appreciate this body slam spam. In the back, they've got a Regirock, so we instantly swap into Drapion, so them loaded superpowers will be great endgame. Stone Edge coming through, Drapion tanks that no problem, he is still quite thick, even as a shadow. We was expecting the swap, which doesn't come. These crunches do about a third, and the opponent actually switches out into a Ghost type. So they managed to catch this crunch, and Gengar comes straight in and straight out. I'm not sure that was particularly the play, but Gengar doesn't really have any play against Drapion or Snorlax, so I guess the third shield is probably the best use for it. Charge move coming through, we let it go down. Now these loaded superpowers are enough to take out Regirock. First one gets it really low, save our shield, and we're going to be able to lick down. Which we do here. GG's to the opponent. So moving on into this next battle, we've got the Charmer lead. Swampert does alright against Charmers, obviously it's super spammy and this Hydro Cannon's hit really hard. So we're going to look to throw this first Hydro Cannon off, see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent lets it go through. We've obviously got 2 better responses in the back, so we do look to switch out, and we've drawn out an Empoleon. So already now, when you see a Togekiss Empoleon, I imagine it's going to be a Shadow Claw Giratina in the back, because this is a fairly common line. We let this Hydro Cannon come through, and I know we'll be able to get to these 2 superpowers. First superpower coming through, grabs the shield. The second one is going to get it fairly low, but it will not take it out. However, we should be in a great position to come in and farm down with Swampert. They need 2 more waterfalls to get to the next Hydro Cannon, so we're going to try and mudshot them down before they get there. 1, and we managed to do it. Let's see what the opponent wants to bring in. Back out comes the Togekiss, so we're going to instantly swap into our Drapion to catch this move. It's just an ancient power. And in the back, like we thought, is the Giratina. So this is where you're going to see the power of Shadow Drapion. We're obviously resisting these Shadow Claws, and these crunches do about half his health. That is crazy damage for such a thick legendary. Charge move coming through. We're going to let the first one come through. They are going to get to another one, which we're going to shield up here. And we're going to look to overfarm a little bit and then land this crunch. We'll see what the opponent wants to do here. Crunch takes it out. In comes a Togekiss. And yet again, we're caught with some lags. We should have there managed to get the last shield, and there's loads of Hydro Cannon. Should have took them out. However, Swampert now needs to survive the charms and get to the back-to-back. We managed to get there 1 HP. So you can see their lag almost cost us, but the team can't manage to work out, and we still take the victory. GG's to the opponent. So moving on to this next battle, we've got a Zapdos. Zapdos is something I've tried to run in the past with varying success. They save options into Cresselia, and we are going to meet him with our Drapion. Moonblast does around 45-50%, however these crunches do around the same, and we do actually outpace the Cresselia. So crunch coming through, you can see we get them into the yellow as well, and we beat him to this next move. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Opponent shields that up and looks to get off the charge move themselves. We're going to match shields here and look to try and win switch. This crunch should be enough to take out the Cresselia. You can see the first one around 50%, and for some reason this next one doesn't take it out. They survive with 1 HP. We're going to let it go down, and we're going to look to mudshot down this Cresselia. We'll take an extra fast move damage, and in the back they've got a Suicune. Another Pokemon I do really like, so they're running a triple legendary team. We're going to look to down this Earthquake, which does land, and switch out into our big boy Snorlax. It's only 5 stars, so it's either Bubble Beam or an Ice Beam. They are looking to debuff us, which is fine, and out comes that Zapdos. Zapdos is super squishy. Obviously this is the regular, not the shadow, but it's still squishy. You can see even debuff, these body slams do so much damage. Opponent has enough energy for the Thunderbolt, and they're not baiting, they do throw the Thunderbolt, but you can see the thick boy Snorlax tanks it no problem, and we're still not going to be able to get thundershock down. Charge move coming through, the Zapdos is now super low. They get to a last minute Drill Peck, which will be enough to take out the Snorlax. However, Swampert is going to have to come in and mudshot down the flyer. In the back they've got that Suicune again. Again they're at 5, so this could be the Ice Beam, which I will shield up. We call the Ice Beam correctly, and we've got so much energy, so we're going to... A Hydro Cannon would probably be enough to take him out from this range. We're going to fire it off. Gets the shield, so better to be safe than sorry. We're going to land this Earthquake, and that's going to be enough to take the game. GG's to the opponent, and super fun team by the opponent as well. So moving on into this next battle, we've got another Obstagoon lead. They instantly swap into a Cresselia, so I meet them with my Drapion. I imagine that they're going to have a Charmer in the back. They've instantly swapped out to try and draw out our Steel type, which we don't actually have. We are going to look to try and maintain switch, because we're obviously not going to want our Snorlax onto this Obstagoon. So you can see there we let the first one through, and we outpace him to the second move like you saw in the last matchup. It gets the opponent really low. They actually let it go through, so we're going to be able to now shield this up and look to Poison Sting down. Which we do. We're now loaded full of energy, and in the back's this Obstagoon again. These Obstagoons don't generally shield, so we're going straight for the Sludge Bomb. Again we land it, as most expect us to be running Aqua Tail, which we're not. Charge move coming through. We're going to let the Drapion go down. It's a Night Slash, which doesn't quite take us out, but one more counter does. We're obviously going to bring back in our Swampert, as we don't want Snorlax on this Obstagoon, as it triple resists our lick. Charge move coming through. You never want to shield up the first Night Slash case to get the boost. We overfarm quite a lot, and we fire off this Hydro Cannon. They let it go through, and as you can see in the back is the Charmer, like we expected. The opponent played this game really well. If you are going to use a Charmer, as much as I hate Charmers, this opponent has played it perfectly. They've instantly swapped into Cresselia, trying to draw out any Steel type that will give Clefable problems. This means that, like the opponent's trying to do here, they could generally 2-shield through a lot of Pokemon in the back. However, unfortunately for this opponent, we have a great answer for Clefable. So getting back to it, we're going to shield up to their back-to-back Body Slams, which we do here. This last one should get the shield, which it does. And we're just about going to manage to get to this next Body Slam to take out the Clefable. We're going to look to instantly swap into Swampert to mudshot it down. So GG's to that opponent. And like I said, if you are running Charm, like that opponent did, you want to instantly swap into something to draw out the Steel type, and then you can hope your Charmer can sweep endgame. So moving on into this next battle. We see another Charm lead. So we look to throw on 7 to try and deny the Charm, which we do here. Hydro Cannon coming through. The opponent lets it go through. We both simultaneously swap. They bring in Gyarados and we bring in Snorlax. This is a fairly decent matchup for us, especially if the opponent doesn't shield. Opponent overfarms a lot. They've got enough for a Crunch or Outrage. It's probably an Aqua Tail. We are going to shield it up. It is just the Aqua Tail. This again is going to be Aqua Tail, which we are going to survive. You can see the Gyarados is deep into the red. We obviously generate energy at the same time. We're going to look to lick down. We're unable to do it. You can see there they must have snuck a Dragon Breath, as we are actually 1 short of a double Body Slam. We've gone down 2 shields, but Snorlax is loaded on energy. Back out comes that Clefable. So we're going to get off the back-to-back body slams. The opponent shields the first one. They let this next one go through, and Snorlax actually takes out Clefable. And in the back, they've got a Giratina. So here again, you see the water Giratina. That is Drapion. Opponent's upper shield, but we've got 3 Pokemon remaining. First crunch comes through, does huge damage. Charge move coming through. You can see they don't do a lot. And I think the opponent here realises that it's game over. So GG's to that opponent. A slight misplay there, attempting to farm down. But the team comp again bails us out. So moving on into this next battle. We've got our Shadow Swampert lead into Cresselia. Again, we look to catch the Grass Knot. We haven't seen hardly any Cresselias in the lead running Grass Knot, or at least they haven't been throwing it as we've been climbing an ELO. The opponent softens us up with a Moonblast and bring in a Talonflame. This is fine for us. We obviously look to time our body slam so we don't let any free Incinerates through. The opponent now is going to throw its energy. This is a Flame Charge. We will survive and get off this next body slam. So now the opponent is going to have to shield to maintain Switcher Light. Opponent does shield, which is great for us. They get 1 Incinerate off, so they're now 1 short of the next Flame Charge. So we're going to come in, get off 2 Mudshots, which is 1 turn before they reach their next charge move, and look to fire off this Hydro Cannon. This Hydro Cannon takes out the Talonflame, and back out comes Cresselia. So our Swampert is now loaded full of energy, and the Cresselia is dry after throwing that Moonblast. We soften it up with a Hydro Cannon and switch out into Drapion. Now we've got Drapion into Swampert. Obviously Drapion shares the same typing of dark poisons, it's only weak to ground. So stuff like Swampert should have a really good matchup. You can see here, these crunches do really hurt, and we can tank these Hydro Cannons. So another crunch coming through, gets the Swampert really low, and we can allow this to go down, and now our Swampert again, endgame's in a great position to close out this match. We overfarm 1 Mudshot short of the opponent's next Hydro Cannon, as we don't want to burn a shield here. The opponent lets it go through, and in comes Cresselia. We're going to shield this up in case they have got Grass Knot. They actually do have Grass Knot, but we're so far ahead in energy. We're going to fire off this Hydro Cannon. The opponent is going to have to get to the back-to-back to take us out. This one grabs the shield. We're going to shield this Grass Knot up, and we're going to be able to outpace into the Earthquake to take the match. You can see there, they're 2 short of the Grass Knot, as the counts for Grass Knot are 6, 6, 5, as you obviously generate 9 energy per Psycho Cut. So GG's to that opponent. You can see they're having 2 answers for Cresselia, who's such a common threat, is fantastic as it really covers Swampert well. So here we have a terrible lead in Gyarados. Everything we've got is resisted, whereas they can hit us for neutral. The opponent again switches out into Talonflame. So we've seen this matchup quite a few times. We're going to look to time them to get these body slams off, and we're going to look to come out of this with shield advantage. Opponent has still not thrown, so the opponent's already going to have to shield without even throwing a move. They throw now. If this is a Flame Charge, we will survive, which it is. Let's see if we can get to this next body slam. The opponent obviously doesn't want that to happen, so they are going to throw their energy. We're going to let it go down, and we're going to look to bring back in our Swampert. So again, we're going to maximise our energy gain before taking any charge moves. So now if this Gyarados does come back, which I expect, I'm trying to instantly swap into Drapion to hopefully catch a crunch. Let's see if we caught the crunch here. Opponent does throw the crunch. You can see there's hardly anything. And in the back, they've got a Charizard. This Charizard is quite squishy even in Ultra League, so 2 crunches is going to be enough to take it out. Charge move coming through. We call the Dragon Claw. We get a bit of lag. We should still get to this crunch, which we do. This should take out the Charizard. And now our Swampert up shields against Gyarados. This Gyarados doesn't have any energy, and we have got quite a lot, so even though we are hitting him for resisted, we should be in a great position to close out this game. Charge move coming through. Aqua Tail, we're going to shield that up, and we're going to look to outpace him to the next one. It's going to be a race who can get to 2 charge moves first. So another Aqua Tail coming through. We shield that up. We're now at the back-to-back Hydro Cannon. So you can see their energy management on Swampert, even in matchups which are obviously unfavourable. With energy, you can flip them, such as this Gyarados. Even though we're only in it for resisted, we've still got enough to clutch up this game. GG's to the opponent. So, moving on into this next battle, we have our Shadow Swampert lead into a Shadow Swampert as well. So we've got the mirror. So what you're going to see, we're both going to look to try and get the extra mudshot in. I throw first, we deny the opponent's mudshot, which is great for us. Opponent doesn't shield. We manage to get a nice bit of lag, and the opponent manages to throw a charge move and get a mudshot through, which is a bit strange, but it is what it is. We're going to play on and we're going to fire off this Hydro Cannon. We do get the shield, the opponent fires immediately, so we know we can let this go through and we'll take shield advantage. I'm going to bring in this Snorlax, and the opponent actually switches out. They have got a Hydro Cannon, so we need to remember that for later, and the opponent brings in Melmetal. So we land the superpower and we look to switch out into Drapion. Charge move coming through. Rock Slide doesn't do too much. It's going to take 3 of them to take us out. So another charge move coming through. Again, we can allow this to go down. Because even if we lose this matchup, we know we'll be able to lick down with Snorlax. So crunch coming through. We'll see what the opponent wants to do. Opponent lets it go down. And they actually bring in a Registeel. So this opponent is actually running a double steel line. We haven't seen too many of them this season. This was more of a common line, maybe back before Talonflame Community Day. Opponent looks to try and catch on Swampert. So we managed to take the last shield. We're going to let this go through and look to lick down. As obviously nothing Swampert can throw will one-shot us. The Focus Blast is going to be the hardest hitting move left. Charge move coming through. Opponent baits us with a Flash Cannon, that's fine. However, we're just going to have to build up to back-to-back superpower, which we do here, and this should be enough to take care of Registeel. First superpower gets it really low. Charge move coming through. We're going to shield this up. And this next superpower is going to be enough to clutch out this next game. Superpower. Bit of overkill on the Reggie, and GG's to that opponent. So there were some of my battles on my veteran run. I gained 300 points in around 11 sets, and to be honest, with the exception of maybe a couple of games where I got outplayed, lag was probably the main reason that I lost. The team was absolutely fantastic, has such great coverage, as the amount of people that are running Cresselia. This team's got 2 real solid answers, and obviously the Swampert Head and Energy also is a great answer for Cresselia. So minus the glitches, this team went positive in every set. I went positive in 10 out of 11 sets. I managed to get 1-5-0 and 2-4-0-1 as we had 2 ties. So the team's really solid and something I would recommend. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the